So you want authentic links golf at an affordable price that's exactly 3.5 hours away from Melbourne. I've got the place for you. If you've been paying attention to any of the top golf course listings in Australia over the past few years, you would have seen Port Fairy slowly creep its way up. I'm generally not a fan of these lists, but Port Fairy slowly rising in the rankings is a trend that I can get behind. Port Fairy is a small town located about 3.5 hours away from Melbourne, southwest, just past Warrnambool and at the end of what we call the Shipwreck Coast, which I find to be appropriately named given the state of my golf when I shot this video. Who am I kidding? That's been my golf game for my entire life. Port Fairy Golf Club dates back to 1889, but the actual course and the location as we know it didn't come around till about 1962 as a 9-holer, and in approximately 1985 it became a full 18-hole layout. You start your round on an elevated tee box for a dogleg right par 5, and straight away you notice all this long grass on the right. That sets the tone early. If you do hit your ball into this long grass, you will lose it. Two is a par 4 that has a little crest halfway up the fairway. The green slopes back towards the tee box more than you do realize. Do take care of those side hill putts. The walk up to 3 from the second green offers you the first glimpse of the ocean. It's a fantastic hole, a short to medium length par 4 that has a little valley which you drive into. Drive it long and you've got a shorter approach onto an elevated green, but you have to deal with more elevation changes. Play it back a little bit and you'll have a short to mid-length iron into the green, but less of an elevation change to deal with. Four's just a standard long par 3. Nothing really special in my opinion, just do be careful of that wind. 5 is an uphill par 5 and subsequently plays longer than it reads on the card, guarded by bunkers all the way up, and it gets steeper at about 80 meters short of the green. Six and 7 are par 4s that sort of play on this shelf of the sand dune. So anything right, you're either roll down to the next adjacent hole or you're in the long grass. 6 is straight away, nothing really special here again. 7 is this dogleg left par 4 with an approach onto an elevated green. Eight is a fun little hole, downhill par 3, short to a 2-tiered green, well guarded by bunkers either side. Long of the green is also dead. You've got an uphill chip onto a green that slopes away from you, so the play here is to miss short of the green. Nine plays along the public road, so windscreens of oncoming cars are well in play here. Be careful not to go left. 10, 11 are holes, in my opinion, that just exist to take you to the part of the property that everyone comes here for. 10's on the same sand dune shelf that 6 plays along. Par 4, again, straight, hit it right, and you're in the 7th fairway. And 11 is a short to medium length par 3, no bunkers to deal with, just little swales and runoffs to the right of the green. As you grab your clubs and walk from the 11th green to the 12th tee box, that's when it really hits you. That's when you understand what all the hype's about. 12 through to 16 has got to be one of the most scenic stretches of golf holes in all of Victoria, and probably the most scenic that I've played. 12 is a dead straight par 5 that naturally I didn't play straight. Nothing really tricky about this hole except for the bunkers that are closer to the green. When the wind direction is in your favor, 13 is a drivable par 4. A couple of fairway bunkers to navigate. Do also note that this fairway slopes from right to left. Fourteen is a long par 4 that plays significantly longer if you don't take on the dune on the right. The green is located behind it. Depending on how far back you play from the corner, it could be a little bit of a blind shot, so look out for the lollipop marker in the distance, which indicates where the green is. Really? 15 is a long par 3 that really tightens even the most courageous of sphincters. If the wind direction is not in your favor, this can play significantly longer and might even be driver off the tee. The last of the great stretch of holes, 16 dogleg left par 4 that climbs up towards the green. You've got this big crater-esque fairway bunker to navigate on the inside left of this hole, and you're hitting your approach shot onto an elevated green that just runs back down if you don't get it right. '17 or 18 are just straightaway par 4s and par 5s respectively. Nothing really to note on 17. And for 18, the only thing that you really have to do take into consideration is this little stream that just cuts across the fairway up closer to the green. Also, shout out to the most famous golf bridge in all of Port Fairy. Legend has it that the Srixon Bridge at St. Andrews took inspiration from this bridge. I'll leave it to you to decide whether that's fact or fiction. Overall, you can't help but to walk away from your round at Port Fairy with the biggest smile on your face. What's probably more impressive is the price of a round here at Port Fairy for the quality of golf and views that you're getting. It's $59 a round on a weekday and $69 a round on the weekend. The golf course, I would give it an 8 out of 10. There's some really good holes and it's some fantastic scenery on the golf course. These holes that I called out as nothing special are still intrinsically good golf holes. And if you put them on a, say, a public access course much closer to Melbourne, I'd be talking about them in a higher regard. But just based on the fact that it's located where it is against some of the other holes, they fall a little bit short. Value for money, this course gets a 9 out of 10. The only reason it doesn't get a 10 out of 10 is because of the cost associated with actually getting down to Port Fairy and playing from Melbourne. If you live in Port Fairy or Warrnambool or really close by, 10 out of 10 value. In summary, Port Fairy lives up to all its hype. It's a course that you could probably plan a long weekend getaway around. play a couple of times, and maybe check out a couple of courses nearby. Absolutely get down there.